right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and the prejudging for the 2022 Texas Pro just wrapped up. And I got to say, we've got a lot to talk about here. I would say, honestly, this was probably, to me, one of the most impressive lineups that we've seen. Aside from the Arnold Classic, I think of all the pro shows that we've seen, this was one of the best that I think we've had. I felt like I was watching like a miniature Olympia, like an Arnold or a New York Pro. I would say this lineup was better than the New York Pro. This was a really competitive first call-out. So in the first call-out, you've got Jeff Tate Sherifant, a.k.a. Big Bad Bundy. We talked about him a few videos ago going into this show. Of course, you had Andrew Jacked. You had Martin Fitzwater. You had Steve Kuklo, Quint Beastwood, Quentin Araya, Kamal El Gargni. So I think the first thing I'm going to say is the obvious thing here. Andrew Jacked is the real deal. Now that we've seen him on stage against these pros, I'm extremely impressed, and for a number of reasons. Number one was the size. We knew that Andrew was a heavy guy. He's constantly posting that he's weighing close to 300 pounds, even when he's in really good shape. But he's much taller than the next tallest bodybuilder. Steve Kuklo, I believe, is over 6 foot. So even though Andrew was heavy from a body weight standpoint, we didn't know how he would look next to another guy that's genuinely big. Steve competes in the high 200s. He's a big bodybuilder. And next to Steve, not just height, Andrew looked really big. And I think most of you guys watching this would agree Andrew is the guy that your eyes were drawn to. I mean, his physique is crazy. And I think the thing that led to him getting so much hype online is the thing that led to him really, I think, possibly winning this show is the crazy roundness he has to his muscle bellies. Look at how much his physique pops. His delts, his pecs, even his abs, everything about his physique just draws your eyes to him and just pops really well. So it's the same thing as you see with him on Instagram and in his pictures. You're just drawn to his physique, and I think the judges were probably drawn to it too. I think his conditioning was much, much better than where he won his pro card at the Arnold Amateur. He was vastly improved from that version of his physique. He looks like he brought up his legs, which to me was one of the things he needed to work on. Really, it's the separation in the legs that was the thing for me that I thought was holding him back, but I think he did enough here with his legs to, I really think he might win this show, which I don't think a lot of people expected. I think for a pro debut, this was an incredibly strong showing, and I think, like I said, it was tough because they did these call-outs. They didn't send anybody back in line. They did the first call-out twice, so they took the same guys, brought them out for the first call-out, brought him out again at the end for the final call-out, didn't send anybody back. So we don't have a clear top 3, top 2, top 4. They kept this same top 6, moved the guys around a lot. I would say right now, though, the top 3 to me looks like it's going to be, and this is in no particular order, it looks like Steve, Martin Fitzwater, who's the shorter guy, and Andrew Jacked, who is in the green posing trunks, if you guys don't know who each of these guys are. And I will say, I was extremely, extremely impressed with Martin. When he came out for his individual routine, I knew right away he was going to be top 6. He looked incredible. And even though he's a shorter guy, I think from a size standpoint, a muscle mass standpoint, he really holds his own with a guy like Steve. And that's, to me, what it looked like they were comparing the most was Martin versus Steve and not so much Martin versus Andrew. I think they're comparing Steve and Martin for second and third. It looks to me that Andrew would be the clear front runner here. So looking at the way they move these guys around, looking at this first call-out and this final call-out, I would say Andrew wins. I would say Martin in second, probably Steve in third. And then it looked like they kept Kamal, pretty much on the end the entire time. To me, Kamal didn't look as sharp as he looked in Tampa. He still looked really sharp, very consistent. He still brought really good conditioning. But I don't think he looked as crazy here in Texas as he looked in Tampa, and maybe that could have been the travel or, something happened during the week. I don't know. But to me, it looked like they had Kamal on the outside the whole time, and they did move Quint Beastwood kind of inside and compare him with those other guys, Martin, Steve, and Andrew. To me, it looks kind of like Quentin would be in fourth. Probably Kamal in fifth, and then Jeff T on the end there, Big Bad Bundy, I would probably say he's looking at sixth place, which is really good for him because his pro debut was Tampa last year, I believe, and he was 10th there at his pro debut. So he's definitely made a lot of headway since then because top 6 in this lineup I think is really good. Also kind of an honorable mention here, Nathan Epler made his open bodybuilding debut switching from 212, and he was in maybe the 4th or 5th call-out, so it didn't look like he was going to be in the conversation for the win here. Phil Klahar was also in this lineup. He didn't make the first call-out. There was a lot of good guys in this lineup that didn't make it, and I think even the judges were having a hard time with the guys they did pick for the top 6 because everybody in that top 6 was really on. Kamal was on, even though I think he was sharper in Tampa. I think that Quentin looked better here than he looked in Tampa, so I think he might move up ahead of Kamal here. I think Kuklo was on, but he just didn't bring – he brought the size, but he didn't really bring the fullness that Andrew Jack brought, because I think they had pretty comparable conditioning, him and Andrew. But Andrew just had a lot fuller, rounder muscles, and you were just drawn to his physique more. I'm not saying that Steve was flat, but Steve, he was on is what I'm saying. And I think Andrew, if he wins this is going to be a massive, massive feather in his cap, because this is his pro debut. There's been all this talk about him online, all this hype, and so often we see guys that get the hype online and that they don't deliver on stage and they don't come through. This could be like a Nick Walker situation right out of the gate. Well, Nick Walker didn't win his pro debut, but right out of the gate does extremely well. Potentially is going to win this show, the Texas Pro debut, and go straight to the Olympia. And I honestly think if he's a little sharper at the Olympia than he was here, Andrew, I think he can do some real damage at the Olympia. Putting him next to a guy like Steve and him still looking that big, I think he's dangerous, man. I think Andrew Jack could be a really, really serious threat at the Olympia looking at this. And I think if Martin Fitzwater does get second here, I think he should continue competing and trying to qualify by winning another open show, because I think he's turning into a pretty great open bodybuilder as well. He's switching over from a different division also. And I would like to see him in that Olympia mix. So I hope that he continues to compete even if he does get second. He could even be in the conversation for a win here. And that's why I think this lineup is so cool and it's such a good moment to be a bodybuilding fan, is because all these guys brought it. They all have such very different physiques. Andrew Jack, the guy that I think is probably going to win this show, is the tallest bodybuilder on stage, and he's very tall. I mean, he's taller than Steve. And typically, tall bodybuilders don't do well. Typically, it's a shorter bodybuilder, or bodybuilding is a short man sport, I guess would be the way that I want to word that. So you got Andrew Jack. You've got two guys that, Martin Fitzwater and Kamal, who came over from 212. Shorter guys, smaller guys that were very complete. Kamal brought crazy conditioning. Martin brought crazy shape. He has a really nice structure. He's very similar to like Keon Pearson. And you've got Steve, who's kind of a mass monster. Not the prettiest physique, but he brings like gnarly, grainy, conditioned muscle. And then you've got Quint Beastwood, another taller guy, but a very aesthetic taller guy. Not the biggest tall guy, but very aesthetic. You got Jeff Day, Big Bad Bundy. I just like saying that a lot better than saying Jeff Day, because that's his Instagram name. He brought something different here. I think he brought a really good version of his physique compared to his pro debut physique. I think in the video that we did where we talked about him a few weeks ago, I referred to him as Kevin Levrone 2.0, because he's got like this crazy round look to his most muscular pose, and looks very reminiscent of Kevin Levrone. But hey, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Right now, I've got Andrew Jack winning it. Who do you guys have winning it? What do you guys think of this top six? How would you guys score it? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for coverage of the finals tonight. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.
Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Dancing in the good light, everybody's feeling warm and bright. It's such a fine and natural sight. Everybody's dancing in